Nick, can I have $500?
You are listening to the all-new Culture Cast. We hope you have a spooktacular time. Ah, ah, ah.
Hello, and welcome back to the all-new Culture Cast. I'm your host, Nick, and we have a star-studded cast for you tonight. We have Cousin Charles,
Hello.
we have Mike,
Hey, how's it going?
and we have Rick.
Hey, hey.
Now, I introduced everyone this time because the last couple of weeks we tried to do this on their own. We've screwed it up tremendously, so
I think this worked out better.
yeah, for sure. Especially when you have like before just like two people doing it or maybe three, so it's easier to control. But now we have like growing groups here, so it's a little bit more difficult. But anyway, it
I
is
like
the
your
week.
shirt there, Nick. What are you wearing and why?
I'm wearing my Ghostbuster hoodie, and I'm wearing it
Nice.
because it was cold out today, and it's one of my go-to hoodies because it's not too thick but not too thin, so it's a good medium thing there.
And also it's Halloween.
It is Halloween. You want to go one step further? Let me show you this what I got over here. Oh, I got this a couple years back. I don't know if this can come up on the camera here.
My.
Oh, wow.
Got the Spirit Halloween Proton Pack,
That's
which
awesome. Now, is that inflatable or is that like actually heavy? Like, does it have some heft to it? Like
it's
real, like plastic?
it's
Oh
plastic.
my god!
Wow.
How much was
Six-
that?
$60 at Spirit Halloween.
Oh
At least
my
I think
god!
it's six. Here, let me. There
Oh
is
my god! I want that.
Well, I know where Rick's going after this.
Yeah.
yeah, Spirit Halloween. For a couple Christmases ago, my in-laws I had given me like a ton of Spirit Halloween related Ghostbuster items. Like they have a trap, they have the PKE meter, and it looks very screen accurate.
That's
And
amazing.
the only downside to the trap is it doesn't come with the foot pedal, but uh, but to be fair, you could probably find. But I guess Walmart released one with a foot. It's weird. And the only downside to the Proton Pack is it is about 80% the size of the screen used one. So it's not like a 1-1 replica. It's a little
Yeah.
bit smaller. It lights up, it has sounds, it's pretty cool. There's been people who it doesn't come with the Alice pack, but there's been people who have modded this online with like upgraded sound effects and everything. And for a costume or something like that, it definitely does the trick. I don't have the
Okay, we
batteries in
either
it
need to
right
do
now.
like a spin-off
Oh
comedy
shoot!
movie.
Check this out. It does have the batteries in it.
Oh my god, that looks amazing.
I don't know if you guys can
Or
read
we
that.
just need to run around the subdivision like idiots. Either way.
Does
it'll
that
be a good
make?
time.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, it's it's
No.
it's good. I like it.
The
I've been
real
debating
question,
about
Nick.
yes.
The real question, Nick. Do you wear that outside of Halloween, like just day to day, cleaning up the house, hanging
Well,
out,
obviously,
social occasions?
I I wore it to C2E2 a couple years ago, which was somewhat problematic because to put the wand in, it's a little plug, which does well for a costume, but it pops out quite easily. So I gotta find some way to attach that a little bit better. I do have a goal to make at some point in time, and I'm hoping Hasbro, which recently got the Ghostbusters license for making toys, makes a 1-1 scale replica proton pack. They released the wand recently from the upcoming Ghostbusters movie, which looks awesome. It's also $100, so I don't know if
Oh,
I'm gonna
wow.
get that.
Now
But
what
it's
you
made
need is
with
a hearse.
die-cast metal and everything.
Nerd.
You
But
need a hearse to drive around in now. It'll be good.
well, Hearst was in 2016, and Ambulance was in 1984.
Oh, I see.
And I thought you were a Ghostbuster fan.
I am. Don't insult me.
Anyway, long story short, it's a great prop for like $60, and you could probably get a coupon for 25% off. Or as I was told, the day after Halloween, everything's going to be 50% off at Spirit. So go on Sunday morning. It's a
Yep.
it's a neat replica. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller, and you really feel that smallness with the wand. But it does the job. It does the job. And yes, I had the flight suit and everything. I'm sure there's a picture on my Facebook somewhere with me in it. But
I think I remember seeing that.
So anyway, the whole reason we are here tonight is
Talk about Ghostbusters.
Talk about Ghostbusters. It's upcoming Halloween,
Mhm.
and I thought it would be fun to talk about everyone's favorite horror movies or scary movies, or however you want to view that. A long time ago, the Gorehound and we had done a podcast, and Gorehound used to be on the show a lot. He isn't on as much anymore. We did a favorite Halloween or horror movies way back in 2015. It was like our 4th episode, and now we're like on our 176 episodes, and we're running out of ideas. So we're just doing things again, and plus we basically have like a whole new crew in here. So I thought it'd be worth revisiting, especially with more so about with you guys to talk about what some of your favorite scary movies, horror films that you guys like to check out, either Halloween or in a general sense. So that's what we're doing here tonight. So I guess we can go in order, just go around, at least rip off a movie that you guys like to watch there. So I guess Cuz, since you're on my screen at the moment, why don't we start with you? What's a favorite horror film that you like to check out?
Well, I'm not. So when we were kind of thinking about doing this topic, I kind of was thinking back and I was trying to think of like what horror movies I like. 'Cause I'm not the biggest, like, if anybody who's, whenever it comes to like picking movies like on Netflix with me and Megan, I'm not the biggest horror movie fan, but what I am is a big creature feature. For some reason, like, if you have a horror movie with a monster, I'm sold. But if it's like with like a serial killer or like something, or like a ghost, usually not so much. So with that being said, the first I get, and you guys may argue and say differently, but I'll count it as a horror movie in my book. Mainly because I think it's one of the greatest films ever made. I'm going to go with the original Predator, because it is. I'm sure there's probably been a dozen and a half people brought it up online, but it's the slasher formula, but just done with macho dudes. Like, instead
If it
of
bleeds, we can kill it.
exactly
I
one.
ain't got time to bleed.
See, that right there is why it's got some of the best Arnie quotes in his entire filmography. And second, it's pretty much the same setup of just people going out to the woods, doing something to just do what it's part of their normal daily life. In this case, it's a group of mercenaries. And then a monster picks them off one by one. And there's always and the signs of a great movie for me are there always little details that I know that after when you rewatch it that you kind of notice or you pick up that you hadn't noticed before. My personal favorite, and this is kind of like more like good. This is good like filmmaking, good storytelling. So Shane Black's character Hawkins, which when they introduce him in the helicopter, kind of like introducing all of our guys that are going to get killed off, pretty much. They do something interesting, which plays into when he dies. I guess spoiler alert. So he's reading a comic book, just kind of minding his business, not really paying attention. And then one of the guys throws like I can't remember if it's like a baseball or some sort of wad piece of paper, throws it at him, and he catches it without even like really looking. And that comes into play later because it kind of tells you as the audience, okay, this guy's got kind of a awareness around him, kind of generally knows what's happening around him, even if he's not even looking.
That's
so
called
when he's
good writing.
It is good writing. And so when he gets picked off, it's that was one of those things I was like, okay, cool. That's telling us that whatever's out there is not something that he is trained to like detect or be aware of, because it is just, it's just completely unseen and unknown. which is again one of those little details. And there's a bunch of them, but that's always kind of like my personal one that I always bring up. When I'm like put on my nerd glasses and my $80 proton pack suit and going, well, guys, did you know? But yeah, no. So
I'm gonna end this goddamn podcast right now because that.
I'm sorry. But that is my but yeah, that's kind of like one of my favorite personal favorite like horror movies that I will. I mean, if I'm bored, I'll even just put it on.
It's a good simple movie. I like when they pull out the machine gun and just start cutting down the forest. Like the forest is like falling apart, so they're shooting it. And you know what was interesting about the movie is at the time it felt pretty unique was the camouflage that the Predator used. It was completely invisible basically. Now I'm surprised you didn't bring up Alien or Aliens. I think that's right in there.
It is. The first Alien movie is definitely horror. I would say the second Alien movie is more action adventure.
They're still both pretty scary, man.
I never I guess growing up, I never really even watched the Alien movies. I think maybe when I was
Prometheus, it's the best one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pass. No, but if we're going to the Aliens franchise, this is like a memory I had when I was a little kid. I think my parents took me to to some sort of some sort of party with one of their friends, and I'm pretty sure I have like a pretty crystal clear memory of at this party they were playing Alien Resurrection. That's the fourth one where I don't know, it had Winona Ryder in it, but for some reason I remember that sticking with me as a young lad from when I was a little kid. But yeah, I never really watched the Alien movies that much.
Really?
And honestly, yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, the one you're talking about was terrible, but the first two are like amazing, like 10 out of 10 movies. 11 out of 10, really.
Well, again, probably from the fact that I saw that movie at an age I probably shouldn't have been watching that movie. I remember a lot of it freaking me out a little bit, just a lot of the deaths and stuff. But I think like in hindsight, it's like mainly because I've become desensitized to a lot of things.
It was pretty. That one was pretty. It was Hollywood schlock, but yeah.
Yeah.
I would go if I were you. Have you seen Alien 1 and 2? It's Alien and then Aliens.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Aliens, like at least most of it, like when I've caught it on TV, and then I can't remember if I've actually seen the original Alien from start to finish. I mean, yes, I know a lot of the.
Amazing. We should almost do a podcast on those movies. So good.
Yeah, no, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think I saw Predator when I was really young too, and I remember I think I saw it behind my parents' back because it was pretty violent, from what I remember.
Fun fact: I didn't see it until I was in actually college when a buddy of mine mentioned it, and I'm like, I haven't. That's when I just kind of missed out. So we went to the family video and rented it that weekend, and we watched it, and it was awesome.
And just to show you how good the first movie is, they've tried making sequels or turning it into a franchise, and the results kind of speak for themselves. Well, did you guys ever see not to turn this into a Predator podcast, did you guys see the Robert Rodriguez one, The Predators?
Nope.
No.
Neither did Robert Rodriguez.
No. Well, neither did most of America. Which I think I kind of like. I mean, I remember enjoying it. I mean, I haven't really sat down and sat up in the middle of the night and gone, I should rewatch Predators. I didn't even see and then I don't think I've even have any desire to see the Shane Black one that they did. Like, God, that was only like what, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. And the rest of America.
Yeah, I saw Predator and then Predator 2, and I punched out after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even remember much about Predator 2.
Has Danny Glover in it, or no, Donald Glover. The older Glover.
Yeah. The other half of Lethal Weapon. And Gary Busey.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was in that too.
He gets cut in half by a predator. It's great.
You know what? Now I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie because it's been a while. But if he gets cut in half in that's pretty awesome.
I guess the and I'll close my little section on Predator with like the trivia, some little trivia that I just kind of have on the movie.
It's trivia time.
Have you guys ever looked up the original design of the Predator creature that they were going to use? Okay, so originally they had a look that was more giant. It was like a giant, almost like a praying mantis, like a big, like almost like a Muppet because it was foam. Because they had it made out of red foam, and they would have, they were going to have someone run through the jungle, to actually be the Predator. And the real fun fact about that is originally they wanted to cast Jean-Claude Van Damme in that original Predator suit, but one, you couldn't see in the thing because it was like 7 feet tall and had like a giant head running through thick jungle, and two, it didn't really allow for any of his signature movement, his all of his splits. So I think that's eventually why he dropped out of the
That was the deal breaker for him.
I think so, but the other thing, kind of leading into the design that we know today, there was a story of Winston was like trying to come up with like his production team was hired to like, okay, we need you to redesign this monster because the first one ain't working and we're already behind. So I think Stan Winston was on a plane. I think he was with, I'm pretty sure, fans can correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't look this up, but I'm pretty sure he was on a plane. James Cameron was next to him. He saw that Stan was sketching a couple designs. He's like, why don't you put some mandibles on it? I haven't seen a monster with any mandibles. And that's why the Predator has that look of what it does. Is just from James Cameron kind of suggesting it to him.
Oh, wow.
Mandibles. What does that mean exactly? What was
the
gun or whatever on the side?
No, the little teeth things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just say that the most manly thing came out of that movie when Arnold and Carl Weathers greet each other at the very beginning, and they like clasp arms, and like their muscles just are like pulsating.
Yes. Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Well, I like how at the end, how Arnold is having to put together all those like kind of those little traps or whatever, and they both get like pretty hurt where they're almost dead now, and the Predator has a self-destruct. I thought that was a great ending.
It is truly like my I consider it one of the most perfect movies ever made in my book.
Yeah, it's really good. I agree with you. I would say it's a horror movie. Definitely.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and watch it now again.
Too bad John McTiernan can no longer produce films in the U.S.
Ooh, yeah.
Why? What's that about?
I'm pretty sure is it tax evasion? There's some where it's like I should have googled it.
And he was like spying on people too, I think. I thought there were some accusations of him like hiring private investigators to spy on people too.
And in the end, he became the Predator.
Heyo.
Ironic. Criminal charges. Ooh, he was incarcerated for a while there.
And this is the director and writer?
This is the director, but he
directed Predator, also Die Hard and Die Hard 3 and Last Action Hero. He did a lot of
had a pretty good career, I would say. But
nice.
nobody's looking to have him I think sign up for any big Hollywood projects these days.
Probably not.
That's a whole episode in of itself, but yep, that's all I got on that one.
Mike, let's go with you next. What's a horror movie that you are a big fan of?
Well, I think my all-time favorite horror movie, it's a very obscure movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called House. It came out in 1985.
I was gonna watch it before this show, but I didn't have time.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it. I mean, it's cheesy, it's goofy, it's over the top, but I love it. It was like the
George
first.
Wendt, right?
Yep. It was the very first horror movie I ever saw as a kid, and I remember because my parents were watching it, and I would come in during different parts of it, and they eventually just let me watch it because I would keep seeing sequences out of order. But it's basically a haunted house story. It's about this writer and his wife. They had a kid that disappeared a few years ago, and his aunt, who owns the house, claims that it's the house that did it. So his aunt ends up committing suicide, and he decides to move into the house to try to get some writing done. And he's a Vietnam vet too, so he's trying to write this. He's trying to write this book about his experience in Vietnam, and this is when he starts seeing all the crazy stuff happen around the house, and with monsters and whatnot. But it's a really good movie. It's silly. It's over the top. But
now it had sequels too. How were they?
Yeah, there's a weird thing with the sequels from what I looked up, because there's a House 1, there's a House 2, the second story, and then there's House 4. And I was like, well, where the hell is House 3? I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess it was, it might have been made outside of the U.S. or something, and they just called it something else. So when they made a new House movie, they called it House.
I mean, is it the same character, or is it like totally different story completely, or what?
In House 4, I saw parts of it. I didn't really like it all that much. It actually does have the first actor from the first movie in it for a little bit.
I'll have to check it out.
It's like I said, it's by today's standards, it's goofy, it's silly, but it kind of makes me miss the practical effects over CGI.
What year is it from?
1985, I believe.
Nice. Good year.
I just looked up House 3 called The Horror Show.
Okay, and, yeah, that's it.
Apparently, it was the horror show was, according to Wikipedia, the source of all truth, was originally intended as an entry to the House series of films, but marketed as unrelated as the producers felt it was too intense compared to the more comedic earlier installments. So it's like it's technically number 3, but they didn't. There's like it's the horror show House 3, but they didn't like they downplayed the connection.
They whispered the House 3 part.
So yeah, stars Lance Henriksen and Star Trek's very own Aaron Eisenberg.
Yeah, I could be wrong, and I think that one's like about a serial killer, which I could understand why it's very different from the other House movies, because the other ones are just kind of like
doesn't even take place in a house.
Exactly.
What madness!
It's on a cruise ship, and it can't slow down.
But I even rewatched House today, and it's just I watch it every year. I love it. I still love it. And I don't know about you guys, but my parents would bribe me with horror movies, like in 4th grade. Like if I did good on a test, they would let me see a horror movie.
Oh my god!
Like rated R horror movies.
That's crazy.
And in fact, another. And to talk about another favorite horror movie, and it's one that everybody hates in the series, but I love it because it's the first one I saw in the series, was Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Did you guys see that one?
Just recently, the past couple of months, I've been not rewatching. I've never seen all the Friday the 13th movies. So Gorehound let me borrow his set because he's a Freddy fanatic, and I've been going my way through it. So I just recently wrapped all up, so it's fresh in my mind, and it's not a very good movie.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying it will always have a place in my heart because it was my very first Freddy movie. Because my parents knew it was silly, it was goofy, it was over the top, and I had been begging them to see a Freddy movie because whenever we would go to the grocery store where you could rent movies and stuff, I would see the Nightmare on Elm Street boxes, and I'm like, oh my God, that guy has a glove with knives on it. I have to see it. Let me see it. Let me see it. And of course, my parents were like, no, you cannot see it. And they eventually settled on Freddy's Dead. So that was my first Freddy movie. So it's gonna.
Like if we show him the bad one, maybe he'll stop asking to watch all
Yeah.
of them.
Well, that didn't work out. And then I would eventually see a better one, which was Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, which was a far superior one.
I gotta say, I have a soft spot for Nightmare on Elm Street 2, also known as the gay one.
Oh,
because,
right, yes.
I feel it's the only Nightmare movie that has like subtext to it.
Mm-hmm. And they released a great documentary about that too, with the guy who starred in that movie.
Right, which I feel.
Englund?
No, the main character who wasn't Freddy, right? Who wanted to inhibit Freddy's body, or Freddy wanted to inhibit his body.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but yeah, if memory serves, they cast him because he was gay in real life, and but they didn't tell him that the movie was going to be having that subtext in it.
Right.
And he felt kind of either used or something like that.
And I don't think he'd completely come out at the time either.
That may be right, yeah.
So that movie kind of like outed him. But the documentary is really good. I forget what it's called. I should look that up.
Interesting.
So, all right, Rick, what about you? Let's move on to you. What's one of your faves?
So probably my favorite horror movie is Poltergeist 1 and 2.
Okay.
Those
I've
were
never seen those. I
very-
need to.
Really? Oh my God.
It's on my list. Like, man, I've
They
seen a
are
lot of movies, but there's so many I've missed as well.
so well written, so well shot, super creepy. I mean, they were PG-13 movies, but like when I think of like
Really?
a
That's
creepy-
crazy.
The first one was PG.
Was it really? Damn.
Yeah, it was
Jeez,
PG.
those ratings were crazy back then.
And
When
they
did
smoke a joint
when
in
did
it
come
too.
out?
Wow.
Kids are tougher.
I don't know the year exactly. It was definitely 80s, I think, or maybe late 70s. But just the whole thing about them trying to like figure out what's going on with these ghosts, and I'm trying to remember the whole movie exactly, but it ends up where that the house, that whole subdivision was built on a graveyard,
As
and that was
they
what
typically
was
are.
causing like all this stuff to happen. And yeah, it was a super creepy movie. And then number 2 was even creepier because the first one didn't have like a main bad guy. It was just like the spirits in general were bad. But the second one had a specific main spirit who was like the bad guy, and it
Who was
goes
really
into
creepy.
a super creepy guy, and goes into how he like brought a bunch of people into a cult and like had them kill themselves in a cave, and this cave is basically like below this new house they moved into or something, and it's they need like the daughter in order to be able to see the light to cross over, and it's really, really scary. Great movies.
I just looked it up briefly. It turns out it came out in 1982,
Okay.
and the rating system back then was crazy because it was before PG-13 came out, and there were a lot of movies around that time that were, I wouldn't say questionable per se, but they weren't quite R-rated, but they weren't quite PG-rated, which ultimately led to the creation of the PG-13,
Wow.
which you could thank Steven Spielberg for, because I think it was like
Mhm.
Temple of Doom and
Right. Yeah.
Gremlins.
there was yes, thank you, Gremlins. That had that was like the push for this. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
sure Poltergeist probably played a role as well, given what you're saying about it.
But
'Cause-
since Mike's talked about his first horror movie he ever saw, I'll tell you about my first horror movie too. The first one was Shining. So there's so many movies I wanted to see. My mom would not let me watch any R-rated movies. You know, you in pop culture you hear about Freddy Krueger, you hear about all these movies. I was a big sci-fi fan, so you'd go to the rental store and you'd see like Aliens, and all these crazy movies are all sci-fi, but they're sci-fi with like horror elements, and it's like you can't see them. It sucks so bad. And finally she gave in and said, okay, you can watch an R movie, but I get to pick it out. She gets her favorite was Shining, and that was just a creepy movie.
Wow.
You know, the whole hotel and ghosts in the hotel, and very scary movie.
It's funny you say that because my parents actually wouldn't let me see that one for a while. Like I don't think I saw that until I was in junior high, because they were convinced if I watched it, I would have nightmares of my dad trying to murder us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I'm sure I probably did have nightmares. It was pretty scary.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep? I heard that one was actually pretty good.
Haven't seen it, but I read the book.
It's fine. You know,
damning it with faint praise.
I mean, Shining is like a movie you buy and it's on your shelf, you know, and Sleep is one you could rent or just download for free and you're good.
Gotcha.
And Rick forgot to mention it's the mini-series he's talking about, right? That's
yeah,
exactly.
Steve Weber.
That was also good, but I mean, man, just the Shining from Kubrick is just nuts, man. And like, you know, just how like he just, you know, every angle he just shoots perfectly, and it's just so weird how like every shot has red in it. Every shot has usually some sort of subtext of like Indians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like the movie is almost like supposed to have like multiple. You could watch it and have it say multiple things to you. Like you can watch it and come to the conclusion of, well, there are no ghosts at all, and it really is just Jack and Wendy going crazy basically, and there's no ghosts whatsoever. And you could explain that. And then there's weird things too, like there'll be like camera movements where you know, Jack comes in the hotel when there's still people there, and he's being shown around, and he's being brought to like the main person's office or whatever to like interview. Well, the camera swoops around and goes in this office in a way where the office is in the center of the hotel, so there should be no windows that can look outside. But when you go into the office, there's windows looking outside, and it's supposed to like basically just confuse you and confound you of like basically nothing makes sense, you know.
Oh, okay.
Well, Kubrick was a master of that. I mean, that's kind of his thing. He's such a brilliant filmmaker when creating his shots and the mood and the structure that things really build, and to create that disorientation effect.
Well, like many great artists, Stanley Kubrick was a crazy person.
True.
Who was, but that's kind of like, you know, you hear a lot of those stories of like some of the great directors, and just like, you know, when they're at the peak of their game, you know, they're a little nuts, but then the stuff that they make is, you know, there's a reason that it sticks around. Because although I mean, for me, because I didn't see, you know, I never saw it as a kid. I mean, you know, The Shining has been parodied like in The Simpsons and a bunch of other things. But I think I actually saw it when I was in college. I think maybe it was around kind of like this time of the year. I think me and my roommates we were like, hey, why don't we put on? I can't remember who suggested it, but it was like, why don't we watch The Shining for some reason? And so it is. I think there's definitely a different expectation, because I think a lot of people, for me at least, you know, it didn't really come off so much as scary. I mean, it was still tense and very good, but it's not necessarily. I mean, it's almost more like a thriller than it is like a straight up horror movie, just because a lot of it is very tame by today's standards.
Mm-hmm.
in terms
it's a
of
slow descent into madness.
exactly. Versus a lot of, I mean, a lot of people have probably talked about this to death of just like, a lot of jump scares, quick cuts, loud noises. But it's a different type of
noises.
That's the secret word of the day. But it's definitely like, I think for people of my age, I think it's definitely like not something that people would consider like a scary movie so much, but it is definitely very much a very suspenseful movie. Like it's not a horror movie in the sense of where it's like, or it's not as much of horror as like
I mean, I don't know. There's something pretty frightening about, like, if you do watch the movie and consider that there are ghosts, because some people will watch the movie and say that the design of it was that Jack sexually abused the boy, and that's what's setting off all this stuff going on.
Oh wow!
But if you watch it and say no, that didn't happen, and there are ghosts, and the hotel is really trying to, like, the hotel is building up its power and trying to get Jack to kill his family, and is building up, and then at the end, it zooms into that picture and it shows that basically Jack has always been there. You know what I mean? Like, he talks about, like, the caretaker has always been there. You've always been the caretaker, and but the house already owns his soul. I mean, the whole thing is just super creepy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And just being if you were like, sometimes, like, you have to. I mean, you could say that to, I guess, any movie. Like, if you were put in any of these scary movies and it was, your shoes were in that movie, you'd be pretty freaking scared. But if you had to go and stay at this hotel in the middle of winter and there's all these rooms and everything like that, I mean, it'd be pretty freaking scary, man. It's a cool movie.
Definitely one of my favorites. I know that one by heart.
Yeah. Nick, what do you got?
Well, as I mentioned in that doesn't make sense. As I've mentioned the prior episode when we did this, I'm a big fan of the Universal monster movies, and particularly the Frankenstein franchise, which I proudly own the Blu-ray set of that, and I break it out every couple of years or so.
Never seen it. Are you talking about, like, old black and white stuff?
Yep. Boris
Like,
Karloff.
Angry Video Game Nerd is really into that. And
he is, yes.
He's made me, he talks about it with such reverence. I'm like, okay, maybe I should go back and watch this, but I've never really seen any of those older movies like that.
I highly recommend. A couple of Halloweens ago, I forced the people on the podcast, I think, cuz you were around for this, I forced everyone to watch the Frankenstein movies during the month of October, and it's a very different style of filmmaking than we were accustomed to today. So, but I don't know. I watched the Frankenstein movie since I was a little kid, and from there I branched out to some of the other Universal horror films. So it's a soft spot in my heart with those. My wife and I watch Senguli fairly regularly on Saturday nights. And he does a lot of those older films as well. Not all Universal monsters, but so I really have appreciation for that. I'm also a big fan. I'm not as big of a fan of the Dracula movies. I mean, they're fine. I have nothing against them. Just not necessarily my cup of tea. Except for the little known sequel, Dracula's Daughter. It's so great because it's a really unique take on vampirism. Because the main character, who's implied to be Dracula's daughter, is Dracula's dead because he died in the previous movie, and she thinks, oh, I'm free from being a vampire now, but then she still has the cravings, and so she visits a psychologist to try to, like, deal with the cravings through, like, therapy and what do you call it, I guess therapy and like a psychological issue, and which is a unique take, especially for that time. And also, there's a huge undercurrent of lesbianism in that movie that you could just cut it with a knife. It's so thick. And like all those things just work so well together that it's a delight to watch.
What movie is that?
Dracula's Daughter.
Hmm.
So that's I'm a big fan of those, but in terms of more modern stuff, I'm also a fan of the Halloween series, as convoluted as they
Yep.
become.
Mhm.
I'm a huge Michael Myers fan, and I just recently I finally finished watching them all, minus the Rob Zombie reboots, which I hear are no good, so I may pass
I
on
haven't
that.
seen a lot of these slasher films. I really haven't seen Halloween. What was the one with the camper camping?
Friday the
Jason,
13th.
Friday
Friday
the 13th. Even Freddy Krueger movies. I've seen some of them. It's been so long, like I can barely remember.
I won't dwell on Halloween very much, but if you see one Halloween movie, make it Halloween Resurrection, because it's awesome for the wrong reasons.
That the one with
let me
Busta Rhymes?
Exactly. And
Oh
that's
my
one of the
God.
reasons why it's so why it's awesomely bad. It's not a good movie. It's not. I'll be
And you're recommending it to me.
well. Okay, let me. If
Your
you're looking for,
credibility is going down.
well, okay, let me explain. If you want to watch a Halloween movie that's really good, definitely the first one, and I also highly recommend the one that came out like a year or so ago. Both of which were called Halloween. Go figure. But those are pretty solid. Especially the newer one, like the last 20 minutes are just awesome. But in terms of like things that are so bad it's great, Halloween Resurrection, the premise is it's an internet. This is very 2003. It's an internet show that people have to stay overnight, and Michael Myers' like childhood home. But surprise, Michael Myers actually happens to be there, and he starts killing them left and right. Busta Rhymes plays the producer of the show, and he's so ridiculous and over the top that at one point in the movie, Michael Myers is stalking him. Busta Rhymes turns around, doesn't realize it's actually Michael Myers, thinks it's some guy in a costume, and he starts like belittling him, like, "What do you get out of here? You can't do this because you're gonna screw up our show." And da 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 da. And Michael Myers, he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask. You know what his expression is like, but like the little tilt that the actor gave, it's all you needed because Michael Myers then follows Busta Rhymes' instructions. It's like Busta Rhymes confused Michael Myers so much he had nothing to do but be like, "Oh, okay, sure." And like, what's even greater, later on in the movie, when they're actually trying to fight Michael Myers, Busta Rhymes apparently is a kung fu master in this movie.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
I do remember that. I do remember
And he
hearing
starts
about
like
that.
he starts like kung fuing Michael Myers, and Michael Myers is like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" He doesn't say that, but you could tell that's what he's feeling. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's so
So is he supposed
ridiculous.
to be like alive or dead or what?
Michael Myers,
Yeah,
he's alive.
I see.
He's one of those.
They never-
So this is the weird thing about Michael Myers. So the series has been mini rebooted multiple times.
Hmm.
The first movie seems to be the canon for everything. So the original timeline was Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. That was one storyline. Number 3 has nothing to do with Michael Myers. They intended to be an
Right.
anthology series. So
Right.
it had nothing to do, which is an underrated film in itself, number 3, in my opinion. So after number 6 bombed at the box office, and it's not a very good movie, after watching it recently, I realized that it came out in the mid 90s, and the production company Dimension Films.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
Halloween 6 is the most Dimension Films movie you could possibly make, just based on the style and the camera lighting and everything. So number 6 was terrible, which starred Paul Rudd in a very early role.
I
So
do remember that one.
So number 7 brought back Jamie Lee Curtis, and so the canon for that time was 1, 2, 7, 8. And then they rebooted it with the Rob Zombie films. And then after several years, the new canon is Halloween 1, Halloween 2018, and then the next 2 movies that are going to be coming out because they're kind of filming them back to back.
You
So
need a chart for all this.
you do. It makes no sense.
But
So
yeah, I'm
like,
definitely gonna
Crazy.
have to check. I'm gonna have to check that out because that sounds like a lot of fun to watch. Halloween Resurrection. That sounds like a fun one.
I mean, it's an interesting premise because at one point in the movie, like the kids are trapped in the house, or the teenagers are trapped in the house, and it's an internet show. So her friend is watching the internet show, and her friend is like texting the final girl like, Michael Myers is in this room. Now he's in this room. So she's trying to evade Michael by
Sounds
getting
like
instructions.
Double Switch or Night Trap or something like that they're playing.
A little bit.
So
Yeah.
like it was a neat sort of like, that's kind of original. That's kind of neat. But like the movie itself is not particularly good. But like it's worth it for the laugh out loud entertainment value. All the movies are on, I think, on demand if you have Xfinity or Comcast or something like that. But they're not hard to track down if you need to find them or you want to find them. So
Now, would you say this is better than Jason X,
I've not seen Jason X.
the one where he
Far-
goes to space?
The one he goes to space.
It's actually, I'm not gonna lie, I like that one. It's terrible, but it's just I like the idea that they try to go with a completely new and different direction with it.
You know, I'm always forgiving of a bad movie if it's entertaining. Like, I love the movie. I love this movie unironically, Batman and Robin. Like, it's so bad, but it's like so much fun and it's so ridiculous that I'm constantly entertained by it.
You can't go wrong there.
You're
Yeah.
not sending me to the cooler.
Yeah, I think for
All right.
me, for that would be The Happening. That's my go-to.
Oh,
really
God.
bad, so bad, but it's good. It's just so bad.
I've never seen that one, but I've heard that there's shots of like trees that are supposed to be like threatening trees. Like they'll just like
Yes.
cut to a tree and it's supposed to be the tree threatening people or something.
Pretty much, yes.
Was it? Well, I was gonna say. I think Nick, wasn't it like the one summer we were working on some project outside. Your one friend saw the movie and tried to explain the plot. I was like,
Yes,
no way,
Zach.
that's a. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
that's a
Zach.
fake movie. There's no way they made the trees the bad guys, and that's dumb. I thought it was completely fake. Turns out I was wrong.
Let me toss another one out there.
Yeah. Go
So, House of a Thousand Corpses.
on.
Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Very, very creepy movie.
I like that one. It's very intense and very brutal.
Yeah. Just the characters were just so real, so alive. So creepy. I don't remember what the name, it was Seth or something like that. What were some of the characters, the people that played the actors? Do you remember?
Sid Haig was in it.
And Dwight from The Office is in it,
Is he
from
really?
what I remember. I think so.
Oh
Really?
yeah, Rainn Wilson is in that.
Yeah.
Is it, Walton Goggins, who was also in it, who's best known recently for The Hateful Eight and the latest Ant-Man movie. And
And the
I think he was in
Unicorn.
Django Unchained. So, interesting cast.
I actually really like that one. And it's funny because that one didn't get really good reviews. Everybody liked the second one more, which was The Devil's Rejects, which I don't know. I thought House of a Thousand Corpses was more fun.
Was that a sequel or was it Rob Zombie's next movie?
Well, I kind of had the same characters a little bit, same type of people. The main character that kind of dresses up as a clown a little bit. I think they carry him over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought that was a really, really creepy movie. I don't know if you've ever played Resident Evil 7, the new one that came out. It's first person game, but there's a situation where you basically end up like lost, and you go to this mansion, and there's like these people there, and they're like really just either messed up people or drugged out people, and they're kind of like hunting you down in the mansion and in the swamps and stuff of this huge land they owned, and it reminds me a lot of House of a Thousand Corpses.
If I could jump in here, I reached out to one of our other podcasters, Jen, who was unable to join us tonight as well, but she did say she recommended the movie The Witch. I don't know which movie she means because I just Googled The Witch, and there's like 12 different films called The Witch. So
you're gonna want to look for the one with the goat in it. I think I know which one she's talking about.
Okay. Is it like a newer movie, or is it like
Yeah. No, it's newer. Let me look it up because I didn't even think
There's
about
one
that
that
one.
came out in 2015.
I thought it was newer than that, but maybe I guess it was 2015, huh? For some reason I thought it was a lot newer than that, but yeah, I guess that's the one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one she was referring to. That was like, it takes place in like settler times, like the 1600s, like Salem witch trials. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I haven't seen it in a while. I think Megan was watching it, and I kind of caught it a little bit. The main thing I know, I saw the end of the movie, which I won't give away, but it's got something to do with the goat. But it is good from what Megan told me.
Okay. Well, I did my due diligence and referenced it per her request. So
I'll have to add that one to the list.
So, Cuz, what about you? Any others that you've seen or that you like that's your up your alley?
Just I had a couple things pulled up. There was, I think, like a couple years back, like with Netflix, I think it wasn't really officially like a trilogy or something like that, but for a while they were making a couple like adaptations of Stephen King stories, like and I'm kind of sort of bunching them together just because they're not bad or anything like that, but they kind of sort of fit the same sort of theme. It was kind of right around, I think they first started coming out when they made the reboot of It. They did one of Gerald's Game, which I thought was pretty good, and that one was directed by.
Is that the one where the girl's like tied up to a bed or something like that?
Yeah, and that was directed by Mike Flanagan. He did the Haunting of Hill House. Okay. And he also, and speaking of what we talked about earlier, he did Dr. Sleep. So that one's pretty good. And then there was.
I'm sorry, what was it called again?
Gerald's Game. Again, it wasn't like an official. I don't think it was like they were intentionally trying to go, but it was just like they made a couple of like it was just Netflix decided had made a couple of movies based on Stephen King short stories. So Gerald's Game was one. They did one called 1922, which had Thomas Jane doing a country accent.
Tom Jane.
Yeah. And then the last one that they made that I know of, at least, I mean, there could be other ones, but that were, based on Stephen King stories, was In the Tall Grass, which again is very much a Stephen King-esque premise of just like, let's just take something like Tall Grass and make it kind of creepy. But those are fair. I mean, they're good. I think Gerald's Game was the one that I would describe as being a really good movie, but I think at the end it kind of went a little bit too long and went a little over-explaining. It's relatively recent, so I won't give too much away about the plot, but Nick, you kind of gave away the main premise. It's just a woman's kind of like handcuffed to a bed. She's got to try to figure a way to get out, but but she's also battling her own inner demons. So that's but those are
one that you mentioned, The Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
Have you guys seen that series on Netflix?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, extremely scary, I thought. I mean, one of those things where it's like you want to unravel a mystery, like what the heck is going on? And it's one of those movies where when you get to the end, it changes how you see the whole thing a little bit. Very creepy. A lot of different creepy aspects of that show. What would you think about it?
I remember when it first came out. I really loved it. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'm not the biggest horror guy, but I thought it was very well. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
In terms of like balancing horror, but it also had a lot of this good character drama.
Well, this kind of reminds me of It a little bit, where it's like it's going into the future, going into the past, so you get to kind of see these kids grow up in this house, and they come back to it, and they're bouncing back and forth in this timeline, so you can kind of unravel what's happening in the characters and stuff.
And I'm pretty sure it was made kind of, or released kind of around the same time. Like, was it 18 or like? It wasn't that long ago, but the thing that made me, or kind of makes me appreciate it a little bit more, or appreciate that show more, is they did technically you could call it a season 2, but it'd be more appropriate to call it kind of like a sequel series.
It's like an anthology, right? Where it's a new haunting, like the haunting of, I don't know, Bel Air or something like that.
Bly Manor. Which,
I'm watching that right now. It's pretty good.
I liked Hill House a lot better.
It is a lot better. It is a lot better.
Yeah, just because it's like, I think you really have to go in with different expectations. I think if you go into expecting it to be another, if you're expecting a show similar to The Haunting of Hill House, I think you're going to be severely disappointed. If you're going into it looking for kind of like a pretty good character drama, I think you'll probably enjoy it. I mean, they still have some of the same trippy, some of the same sort of, the story's playing with time and stuff like that, but it's very, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, I described it to Megan afterwards. It's like $1,000 Big Mac. It's like, this is really good. It's well made, but at the end of the day, it's still a Big Mac. It's like, it's not really anything that's, for me at least. Although the one thing, Rick, how far have you gotten into Bly Manor?
We're maybe episode 6 right now.
Okay. The one thing, somebody pointed this out to me on online, at least in terms of just like, there's not too much weird casting. I would say it's pretty, pretty tame. But the one thing that really stood out to me is, so the whole setup is like this woman's going to like a friend's daughter's wedding in the first episode. The fiance in that, you guys seen The Room, right? The infamous Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, the guy who plays Mark.
Podcast on that. Hey, Mark.
Yeah. No, I would be down. I have so many.
Absolutely.
That movie gets me very excited. But for some reason, the fiance in the setup to the story is Mark. It's Greg Sestero, which was very distracting for me because he doesn't have many lines, so he's not a focus, but it is just weird. It's like someone must have known who this guy is, and
I've already forgotten. It was like a story within a story. It seems useless that they even did that. But
yeah, and trust me, it's. I'm not. It's not a spoiler or anything, but it's kind of. Yeah.
Bookend.
Like I said, I don't hate Bly Manor, but I'm not going to ever. I'll be honest. I could see myself rewatching Hill House because I was like,
yes,
man, that really was a good show. But Bly Manor, I don't think I'm ever going to go.
Well, Hill House is like genius level, Like, it was genius.
Well, and the other thing I would make you kind of rewatch it is the hidden ghosts that apparently I never. I can never find them, but other people can, which is a little frustrating to me. But at the same time, I'm just like, now after kind of I think I might put that on my. I think maybe that's maybe what I'll do on Halloween itself is just get out candy and rewatch The Haunting of Hill House.
Mm-hmm. No, you guys should watch it. It's worth the watch. It's really good.
I've heard good things. I just I guess finding the time to sit down and watch another series.
Mm-hmm. It's worth it. You got a week.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to like cram in all my next horror series. I'm gonna try to do is going to be the Jason movies, but maybe I'll put that off to next year.
Just wait until you get to Jason X.
I thought a really good horror movie that I think was maybe the first that really took advantage of I guess what would you call it, like social engineering or something like that, which was the Blair Witch Project. Remember it was like okay, did they really find this footage? Did it really happen? You know, and like you're younger, so you're like, oh, maybe it did. You know, I don't know. This is cool. We should go watch it. And I mean, for just being so low budget and just shot with, you know, just crappy cameras in the forest. I mean, they did a great job of like really pulling out as much like horror and suspense as you possibly could in that type of idea, you know.
When that movie came, we did an episode on Blair Witch years ago, and that one of the things we discussed at that point was that movie worked perfectly for that time. If you were to release that now, no, people would realize this right away. But like in the mid '90s, like that, like they really played it up that this was real because there was like, I think Sci-Fi Channel had like a legit documentary about the Blair Witch that came on around the same time, and there were a lot of questions about that.
They made like a fake website and stuff, and
I remember when they were advertising it, they were making it sound like it was like this actually happened.
Fun fact, when I was a young lad, with the Boy Scout troop that I was with did like a haunted house. And I remember the one year, again, this must have been maybe like 2002 or 2003. I don't know whose idea it was, but I think, as we were setting up the haunted house or kind of like during the haunted house, I think we had a TV that just played the Blair Witch Project. Like it one of the air, like it just, I think it was like in the entrance of the haunted house at the school I went to. I don't know whose idea it was to think like, yeah, this would be good for kids. But I distinctly remember that was one of the things we did that year. But I don't think I've ever sat down to actually watch the Blair Witch Project start to finish.
You should get on that.
But I should. But
you'll vomit by the end of it.
Yeah. Well, and then didn't they do like everything else because Hollywood's ran out of ideas? They did a reboot of the Blair Witch or something like that, didn't they?
They did a sequel.
It was a sequel. Okay.
They did two sequels. The first one was Book of Secrets, Blair Witch 2.
Horrible.
Where it was a conventional movie that took place in the world of documentary, which makes no sense. But that's a thing they did. And just a few years ago, they released Blair Witch. I think it was just called The Blair Witch, if I'm not mistaken. And was that a found footage film as well? I don't remember.
I think it was. I, shocker, did not see it.
I'm sure Gorehound did.
Yeah. But I think that was, because I think it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe only like 2 years ago. Let's see.
Within like the last 5 years, I couldn't tell you exactly when it came out.
If I can learn how to spell witch. Good Lord, I'm losing track of time. That was 2016.
Okay.
My
That's a
God,
while
time is flying by.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say the only other movie I had on my list that I want to mention. This isn't a horror movie, but this is a movie that has scarred me to this day, and I refuse to rewatch it just because of how much it messed me up as a kid.
Too
And
Fast, Too Furious.
No, I wish. That movie's great. That movie taught me how to break into a car. You just take your shirt, you wrap around your fist, and you just punch through the window.
That's how I open up my door every day. Keys
Yeah.
are for suckers.
But great movie, Too Fast, Too Furious. Should have won the Oscars, but life isn't fair. No, the movie that I was going to mention, just to close out my little list, it's Mars Attacks. I
Oh,
saw that
wow.
movie again, like a lot of the movies I mentioned, probably when I was way, way too young. I maybe 10, I want to say. I don't know. It was on TV. I remember there's the scene where I think it's right in the beginning where I think one of the aliens described as the girl. I think this is one actor. I'm trying to think of who. There's a bunch of different people in that movie. That's what's weird.
There's
It's
there's a lot of famous people in it.
Yeah, I think one of the aliens bites off one of Martin Short's fingers, and then and then the alien breaks into the White House. I think I remember the thing I remember stuck out. I think they disintegrate the dog or something. I remember that stuck with me for a while. Like I said, that movie just messed me up. I'd have nightmares of those things coming into my bedroom. And I know a lot of people are like, well, this movie's kind of more of a comedy, and my adult brain says, yeah, but the little kid in me that's running that's behind the wheels, nope, never again.
But I could see that. It's Tim Burton, just like with Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is supposed to be more of a comedy, but that has some really fucked up stuff in it too.
Mm-hmm. Probably talking about movies that really stuck with you for a while as a kid. I saw it on TV or something like that. I'm trying to remember what the name of the movie was. It's basically it was a movie about somebody who gets kidnapped by aliens. And it's supposed to be very real, so it's not like Little Green Men or whatever. But this guy, I don't know if he was trying to track down the aliens, but he eventually gets kidnapped by them. He wakes up and kind of starts walking around the ship or whatever. Then the aliens find him, capture him, put him on a table, and they start they basically put this plastic almost over him so he can't even move. They just punch enough holes so he can breathe, and they put something on his eye, and they start jamming his eye with some sort of stuff to go into his brain. And it was messed up. I'm trying to remember what the name of the movie was, but
I think I know which one you're talking about. I think it's Fire in the Sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that with
As soon as you started mentioning.
And I had nightmares for weeks after seeing that. I was like, holy shit.
I don't think I know which one you're talking about with the Christopher.
I'm thinking of
Walken,
Communion. That's
you're. Yep, you got
There is a
Communion's one
known. Let's see, Fire. I must know this now. Pause everything while I look this up. Let's see.
Need to play some Please Stand By music.
D.B. Sweeney.
Yep.
And Robert Patrick. And Henry Thomas is in that. Oh, good old Henry Thomas. E.T. And also in Haunting of Hill House. It all comes
That's
together.
right.
And was in Dr. Sleep.
I think
The more you know.
I think Mike Flanagan must have been a real big fan of E.T. He keeps him employed. He keeps Elliot on his payroll.
So I have a question to the group here. I have not seen this movie, but recently it's been revealed that Sinister is the scariest movie ever made according to science. True or false?
Never heard of it.
Well, okay.
That
answers that one. Case closed.
No, never heard of that.
came out in 2012, directed by Scott Dickerson, stars Ethan
Yeah,
Hawke, and Die Hard 2's very own Fred Thompson.
I'll watch the trailer later and see what I think.
Huh.
yeah. I vaguely remember when that movie was coming out, but I don't. Yeah, no, never. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I know a lot about movies, but there's still like a lot of movies where like, oh yeah, I have a general idea what that's about, but I've either have not seen it or don't plan on seeing it because it's like, well, it just seems like just not my cup of tea, so to speak.
Hey.
Well,
So let me ask you guys: do you believe in ghosts? Are the ghosts like how we see in these like movies and stuff like this? Could this be real?
I'm not sure if I believe in ghosts, but I believe in Zach Baggins. That man believes in ghosts.
Is that the ghost hunter guy, or what do they call that?
Yeah,
Ghost Tetris?
I mean,
Bros.
the scene where they go and they try to like, you use infrared and they're trying to like, use all these like tools and everything, and it's just like, all right, are you really a scientist, man?
I think I would say like real talk, real talk. I would say I want to believe in ghosts. I want to believe in like that their energies can can continue on after someone's gone. I do think some people have seen ghosts or may have seen something, but I do think again, while I'm very entertained by Ghost Adventures and the trappings of Zach Baggins and his dude bros, which I don't think that Zach is finding ghosts on a weekly basis. I think he wants to fight a ghost, or at least in some of the earlier seasons, he wanted to fight a ghost.
He's like the paranormal Joe Rogan.
Yeah, no, I was at a family thing over the weekend, and I felt like an
No,
alien
you
trying to explain
weren't.
that show.
Jesus, I'm
Missouri,
just-
but I tried to explain that show. They're like, we've never heard of him. I'm like, what? It's great. You got this guy who's like an Ed Hardy T-shirt come to life, super serious about everything, and then he got his two chuckleheads, or actually it's like four, I think now, that just go, Zach, I think I heard something, bro. It's great.
My God.
There's like 100+ episodes. It's magical.
I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
What do you guys think, Nick, Mike? Ghost real?
I
I
don't think so.
Here's my non-answer. I don't think they're real, but I'll keep my mind open because I think there's a lot about this world we just don't understand. Like think about 1,000 years ago and trying to explain to that person you could split the atom and have a huge bomb. They don't know what I'm talking about. So while I don't think they're real in the way Ghost Adventures thinks they're real, I wouldn't be surprised if say
There's a ghost
1,000
here,
years,
bro.
I wouldn't be surprised and say 1,000 years from now there might be science that reveals more about supernatural phenomena like that. So
Right.
I don't think it's real in the way fiction makes it seem real, but maybe there is more that we just don't understand yet. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with Nick on that.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Don't ride my
but
coattails.
doesn't mean it doesn't like it's not scary though. You know what I mean? Like if you're in like some sort of like huge house in the middle of the night and like you're alone or whatever, your mind's gonna start going crazy and you're gonna be scared. But like I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
actually there. I think a lot of it has to do with like evolution, where it's like it's safer and more likely you'll survive if you're like, I think there's something over there. I should get the hell out of here. I think there's a lion in the bush. I didn't see the lion, but I think there's a lion. I think I saw a lion. Run. Versus waiting for actual confirmation of fact, and it's too late.
I will say we have 3 cats, and whenever it's dark and you just see them stare at absolutely nothing, it does freak me out when I see that. I'm like, what the hell are you staring at? What's there?
Weird.
I sometimes think of that when Max just starts barking into the ether. I'm like, is there someone walking their dog outside, or is there something that we can't see? Who knows?
The other thing is like all these ghost stories. It's always ghosts within the last like 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's a ghost of the people that sank in the Titanic, or it's like, somebody from Wild West, or somebody from the 1800s. It's never, oh, there goes a Roman. There's a Greek. Oh, there's a Greek ghost. He's speaking to me. I don't understand Latin, though. It's dead language, they say.
Or like a ghost from the 80s, like, fully
Right.
decked out in like a tracksuit. You don't see
Mhm.
them go. Or maybe it's just like, maybe it's like there's like a half-life to the afterlife. So it's like,
Right.
right now we're in the 1800s phase, and
Exactly.
like, and then we'll get up to like we'll start moving closer in the timeline or something.
I'm also kind of wondering where this whole kind of ghost thing, how far back does it go as far as when people were like writing stories about it? You know what I mean? Like, obviously there was like the whole Salem witch trials. People believed in witches or whatever, were nervous about that. But like, was there ever like what's the first like ghost story?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Is is a ghost story more of a modern thing?
I mean, well, don't forget about like a Christmas Carol. I mean, that has
I was thinking about that.
Mhm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's like what from is that 1800? Man, I'm not good at time at all. I keep thinking like, but yeah, these movies only just came out a few years ago. I'm like, that was over 5 or 6 years ago. I'm like, ooh.
Christmas Carol came out in 1843.
And then you have Shakespeare even has ghosts. So I guess
Hamlet.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm laughing because one of my favorite Simpsons jokes, which is so weird, is it was an episode where someone told the story of Hamlet, but it was in the Simpson characters doing Hamlet. At the end of the episode, Homer's like, Hamlet was a great play that became a great movie called Ghostbusters, and they just start dancing to the Ghostbusters theme. And that's how the episode ended. It's like so off the wall and bizarre, but I laugh at it anytime I think about it. Sorry, cuz I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry.
No, that was what. Like I said, no. I would much rather be cut off by a Simpsons joke. That it's one of my lifelong dreams. I guess. But yeah, no. If anyone's going to find ghosts, I want it to be Zach Bagans. The man deserves it. He's up there with the great showmen like P.T. Barnum and other hucksters.
Well, to bring this all full circle, of course, the greatest horror movie ever made is Ghostbusters. Bring us back to where we were starting at. To end us, I have a Halloween joke for everyone. I'm sure I've said this joke on the podcast in the past, so cuz you may have heard it before, I don't know. But why can't witches get pregnant?
Why?
Why?
Because they date guys with happy Halloweenies.
Ding.
I'm glad that the dead silence there means it was the greatest joke ever said.
I don't even know what to say after that.
Like Rick, I see your expression just like blank. Like I'm not acknowledging that this thing just happened. We're just gonna move on from here.
Why is it so hard to tell which sisters apart? Because you don't know which witch is which.
I appreciate the grammar as a former English teacher.
You're welcome.
So, all right. Well, everyone, this has been fun. I'm glad we did this, and in another 172 episodes, we'll do this topic again because we'll cycle through.
Sounds good.
Hope you all have a good Halloween, and yeah, I'll have you guys say goodbye.
This is Rick.
This is Cousin Charles.
This is Mike.
And that was a disaster. I'm never going to let you guys introduce each other. I figured we try at the end. Maybe I just need to give like instructions. We'll go alphabetical.
All you have to do is say your name. What's so hard? Why is there a delay?
It's like everyone doesn't want to talk over.
Well,
Alrighty.
Well,
So
I quite frequently forget my own name, so I have it written down in my hand.
make sure it's the right hand. Asshole. That doesn't seem right. So, all right, folks. You guys have a good Halloween. This has been All New Culture Cast. We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye. You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast. We try to post new episodes every Monday evenings, 3 to 4 times a month. Check out our backlog. We could be found at allnewculturecast.libsyn.com. You can also find us on Apple iTunes and wherever else podcasts can be downloaded and listened to. This has been the All New Culture Cast, a Saltwater production. Original material, copyright 2020. Thanks for listening.
I also have a signed DVD by Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we went to the screening. We got a photo with him.
Not to brag or anything.